Marketing for Founders. My name is Atish Venugopalan and I am the founder and CEO for AJ and PG Media. Today I have with me
I'm Suraj Divakaran, I'm the founder of Digital Uncovered. In today's episode, we're going to discuss what are some of the skill sets, potential traits and experience that a founder should look for in a potential CMO hire. Since Ajish has worked in the field before and he has had several discussions with founders in the space, so I wanted to understand what your experience has been when it comes to what traits and skills founders should look for in a potential CMO hire, and when they're trying to set up the marketing team for the first time.
Interesting subject, Suraj, and I hope our viewers will find it interesting and a great learning experience hearing this out.
Are you a founder or do you own a startup in India or anywhere in the world? What kind of skills do you really look for in a potential CMO? Please try to comment on the box below and we will try to address and answer some of your queries for you. Let me begin by saying that marketing is no longer traditional as the way it was about 25-30 years back. It has evolved, and today's modern marketing, I believe it's a subset of 4 different subjects altogether. Number 1, creativity. Number 2, consumer psychology. Number 3, technology. And number 4 is data and analytics. Why do I say so, and why are these skills very important? Let me try and articulate that. Why is creativity important for a CMO? Is fundamentally because let's assume that you put together a brand guideline. A CMO should probably understand color psychology and the color schemes of your brand. He should understand fundamentally the fonts and the different font families and why they should use a certain font family for certain brands. Now, why is it important for a CMO to have a certain idea of creativity? Only then a CMO is able to do, number 1, agency briefing, or is able to groom his team properly. If a CMO does not understand the creative aspect of it, he may not be good at briefing the agency, and the agency's output is going to go for a toss, right? Number 2, consumer psychology. Any CMO should answer this question: what's in it for me? As a consumer, if you were to offer me an XYZ product or a service, why should I really buy that product? So from a psychology perspective, a CMO should definitely be able to answer what's in it for you or what's in it for me from a consumer standpoint. Why should a consumer really buy your product? And only a consumer psychology as a subject will be able to address this question for you, right? Number 3, technology. Once you've got through with your creativity and consumer psychology, probably then you have roughly an idea as to how to craft or to create your campaign. Now, this campaign has to be executed using technology. Now, it can be Google AdWords, it could be a programmatic platform, or it could be your YouTube, or it could be your simple organic search engine optimization campaigns. It can be any of those things. Without fundamental knowledge of technology, a CMO will not be able to understand and guide his team as to how to get this campaign executed, and therefore understanding of technology is very, very critical for today's CMO. And number 4, data. Once a campaign has been launched, it's out there in the market. A CMO should be able to consistently monitor the data coming out of the campaign and use that data, make meaningful inferences out of the data, and optimize the campaign. If you can't measure, you can't really do it. But is that all? Let me quickly summarize. I'm specifically focusing only on the skills that a founder should look for in a CMO. Number 1, creativity. Number 2, consumer psychology. Number 3, technology. And number 4, data. But is that all? No. What stage of the business is your business in? Are you Series A funded? Are you a pre-seed funded company? Or are you a seed funded company? Are you at Series C funding? That again matters. Not just that, what are the other experiences or industry traits that one should look for in a potential CMO? Let's quickly jump into Suraj and understand some of these questions. But if you do have a comment in any of those areas, please feel free to comment there and we will come back to you with answers for these questions.
So when you're looking for a potential CMO hire or setting up the marketing function for the first time, there are 3 other critical dimensions that you as a founder has to evaluate. The first dimension is the stage of business. Now, when it comes to stage of business, you have different stages that a business goes through. Seed stage, Series A, Series B, Series C. So you can primarily break this down into two stages. So the first is pre-revenue, right? When you're in pre-revenue stage, you're looking at product market fit. You're looking at how can I build this product or service out there in the market, right? You're looking at the GTM strategy that has to be used. So when you're looking at pre-revenue stage, you need a CMO who has some experience in building a business which has been in pre-revenue stage. But once you reach revenue and profitability, you're looking at different aspects of what the role can do. It could be about scaling revenue and profitability. It could be about adding new products and services, or it could be about entering new international markets. So for instance, you are currently selling as a software company in India, but you are looking to enter North American and European market. So then you would look for somebody who has previously done that in one of the previous roles, right? So the CMO that you want to bring on board also has to correspond to the stage of business that you are in, which is very, very critical. The second important dimension that you should look as a founder is the dimension of experience. So what a lot of companies do when they hire somebody is they look for recency effect. If let's say for instance you are a company in the conversational AI space, you would look at hiring a CMO, a potential CMO from one of your competitors, somebody who understands the space really, really well. Now, why is that important? What you're essentially trying to do is you're trying to cut down the amount of time that person will take to learn about the industry, right? Which is very, very critical, because if the person doesn't understand your business and the space you operate in, he or she will take a lot more time to get successful when it comes to marketing. But there are exceptions to this rule. So for instance, you're trying to build a new category which doesn't exist, right? Or you're trying to do something different in your category. So you don't want to hire somebody from your competitors or somebody who's worked in the space before, because that person will also come with a lot of baggage and expectations, and that person will also have preconceived notions on what works and what doesn't work. So in that case, you want to get somebody on board who comes with a clean slate, who doesn't come with some sort of expectations on how the category or the industry sort of operates. And that also gives you a lot of leeway to iterate and experiment and do things in a new way. The third and most critical dimension that you should look at, and which is often ignored, is cultural fitment. Now, cultural fitment is very, very important. I would say it's more important than skill sets and experience, because what happens a lot of times is that you get somebody really, really smart, right? But there is no alignment in terms of culture, and what happens is 3 to 6 months down the line, the entire marketing plan sort of derails. So what the founder essentially has to do is outline the values that the company has and make sure that the person who's coming on board is aligned to the values that the company already has. So for instance, you as a company could have been self-funded, right? And frugality is a core value that you might be practicing. But then you get a CMO who has worked in a very, very large company and who has a lot of marketing spends that he's handling. So what will happen is that this person may or may not practice frugality as a value, right? Because he's always worked in companies where he had a lot of funding, right? And then the person who's coming on board has to adapt to the scenario, and he may or may not be able to adapt to the scenario, right? So cultural fitment, understanding the core values of the company, becomes very, very critical in that case. Also, the other aspect that you should look from a cultural alignment perspective is that whether you as a founder has a point of view on marketing. Now, why is this very important? Because if you don't have a point of view on marketing, which is you look at brands in the category that you operate or outside of your space to understand what is the kind of marketing that you like, right? Whether you like are there any campaigns, are there any advertising campaigns that you looked at and you really liked, right? So you as a founder should have a point of view on marketing, and this is very, very important because the CMO will always have a point of view on marketing based on his experience, years of experience working in different industries, right? So whether the point of view that you have and the point of view that the marketing head or the CMO that you're hiring has is completely aligned, because that is where a difference in opinion comes in, right? So you as a person might value design and aesthetics a lot, but the CMO that you've gotten probably doesn't have a lot of experience with design and aesthetics, right? So it alludes to some of the points that Ajish mentioned when it comes to the skill sets that you should look at when you are hiring somebody. So these are 3 critical dimensions that you should look at: the stage of the business, the experience that the person you are trying to bring on board has, and the final stage is cultural alignment, which is very, very important, because this not getting somebody on board who is culturally aligned can derail the entire process of getting a CMO on board.
Suraj, I think this was too much of information dissemination for all the founders out there watching. We are sure that you will have a lot of questions. Feel free to ask your questions on the comment box below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon so that as and when we upload a new content, you get a notification on your phone or your inboxes. It's time for us to conclude this episode, but we will be back again with yet another exciting episode of Marketing for Founders. This is Ajish Venugopalan, the founder and CEO for AJ&VG Media, signing off. And along with me, I have...
This is Suraj Divakaran, founder of Digital Uncovered.
Thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.